Welcome inside the channel. It's 4:46 in the late afternoon hours on Monday, October 6th. Week 5 of this NFL season comes to a close tonight. It's Kansas City. It's Jacksonville. It's Monday Night Football. But more importantly, the Ravens are reeling right now, and their season is hanging on by a thread. They lose to the Houston Texans in embarrassing fashion, as you probably know by now, 44-10 at home. One of the worst losses in franchise history. John Harbaugh, just a short while ago, wrapped up his day after weekly Monday press conference. I've got takeaways from that. Chris Canty, yet again, pulls no punches and accurately assesses the state of this franchise, having some hard conversations and dialogue along the way. A new timeline in terms of his recovery timetable for Pat Ricard, and a number of other things coming up over the course of the next hour. The guest lines are open. You will have a 60-second timer now incorporated. It's a new feature that I just added in and a way of just becoming more efficient and catering to all of you guys out there that have sensitive time schedules, because let's be honest, not everybody has 120 minutes to consume every single day content related to the Ravens, particularly when they are 1-4. And that is the harsh reality right now, guys. This is a group that is searching for answers. M&T Bank Stadium was searching for things to do yesterday because they did the Ravens flock fan base, understandably so, at points in the third quarter, maybe even earlier that at halftime. This image right here is from the second half. I can't remember if it was midway through the third quarter or in the fourth, but whatever. I mean, at some point, if you're Steve Bisciotti, owner of the Ravens organization, man, this becomes about business, right? And ultimately catering to those who are what this entire thing revolves around. Yes, the game itself revolves around the players, the staff, the personnel, right? And everything that goes in to the organization. But ultimately, none of this would work without the fans. And the fans clearly are sending a message to this organization. I've heard from so many of you within the last 24 hours, really probably even dating back to a week or so ago, related to decisions that you're making, business decisions of your own, maybe canceling upcoming trips or flights or hotels that you had tentatively booked because of your interest in wanting to watch this team. And knowing the product that they're putting out on the field is so subpar and so below standard, I don't blame you. That's not fair weather. That's just straight up not what you signed up for. And I think that's a difficult place to be, both as a fan base and as an organization. But that is where the Ravens are right now. And unless they can right this ship and keep it from sinking, it's going to go nowhere fast. And if you think now is rock bottom, I don't know how it could get any worse, but I do know that there is always that chance, given what the Ravens have put on tape the last 2 weeks. Guys, it's coming off a 34-point loss. That's tied for worst in the franchise history. You got to go back to 2013. That tied the loss to the New England Patriots back then in the Tom Brady era. Okay, and defensively, I know I hate to have to share these graphics, and I'll keep it moving, and we won't spend too much time on them. But they rank dead last or damn near close to it in several key categories now through 5 weeks. They're the dead last ranked scoring defense. Guys, they're giving up over 35 points per game. They're giving up over 408 yards per game. That's second to last. A QBR of 75. That's 32nd. And they've given up 13 passing touchdowns so far. Again, that 35.4 number in terms of points per game allowed, which ranks last, is the most in a 5-game span throughout this organization's 30-year history. I don't need to tell you or remind you of any of this. But if you're looking for a little bit of optimism, given the state of the AFC North, perhaps given what the Ravens have in front of them down the second half stretch in terms of degree of difficulty, shockingly, they're still favored, as friend of the show Kay Adams noted, to win the AFC North despite being 1-4. That is on FanDuel Sportsbook. How is this team, the way that this roster is currently constructed and how they are playing under John Harbaugh, with such a lack of fight, with being decimated in the injury category, with getting it in their own way, how are they still favored to win this division? I guess that probably says more about their peers in the AFC North than it does themselves. But for whatever it's worth, there you have it. They are still favored to win the AFC North. Now, Chris Canty, you think he gives a shit about that? The former Raven, he understands what it means to play like a Raven. Do the current members of this organization do? I don't know. I've never been able to say that or share that kind of uncertain sentiment and sentiments since I started covering this team. How long? What are we in? 2025? We're going back 7-8 years now. I've never been able to say that. But Chris Canty sure can. And he knows it's below standard. And he did not pull any punches when evaluating where this team is through 5 weeks, including when it comes to dissecting the head coach.
Because you think it's over.
They can't hurt me anymore. I told everybody last week that it was over. And Marcus Spears and Stephen A. Smith and Dan Orlovsky tried to convince me, no, Ravens will be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Schrager, too, I believe, said that he wasn't worried about them.
I'm not worried about the Ravens. I'm not worried about the Ravens.
So are they done?
They've been done. I told you that last week. They're done.
What would you like to see them do now?
I don't.
You love Lamar. Do you want them to shut him down for a little bit?
You know what I would like for them to do?
Yeah. No, actually, tell me.
Put up some damn fight. Because what I saw yesterday was an indictment on John Harbaugh as the coach. You can't roll out there at home and let the Houston Texans, who have been inconsistent on offense to say the least this season, drop 44 on your head, the most points scored since, 2008?
It's the most allowed by the Ravens in a home game in Harbaugh's 18 years as the coach.
Yeah. Come on, dog. Y'all got to be better than that.
Well, what does that
I understand you got players missing on both sides of the ball, but you do have to have some level of professional pride. And yesterday, they didn't look like they had a plan, not even concepts of a plan in terms of knowing what they want to do. I saw more fight from the Baltimore Ravens defense on a celebration from Nico Collins than I saw actually between the whistles. It was awful. So I'm not going to sit here and go on a tirade and be irate because I said the Baltimore Ravens were bad. I said this was the worst defense in the league, and it's bared itself out. I just expected that John Harbaugh would find a way for his team to be more competitive than what we got. And for that not to happen is a direct reflection of coaching.
And by Nico Collins, of course, Chris, I think we all know who he meant, Jalen Noel and the Jair Alexander back and forth. We've all watched that exchange and post-game sound and everything. We don't need to beat that to a pulp any more than we already have. Chris Canty, yet again, for the second time in 3 weeks or so, stating facts. And I'm sure it's difficult for him to say things like that, given his admiration, love, commitment, fandom even, for his former organization and John Harbaugh. But he's got a mic, and he's telling the truth. Quote, "The Ravens can't hurt me anymore." I don't know if some of you guys can relate to that. You know what I would like for them to do? Put up some damn fight. Because what I saw yesterday was an indictment on John Harbaugh as the coach. You do have to have some level of professional pride, meaning, yes, they're banged up. Yes, their depth is being tested. Yes, they had 5 rookies on one side of the ball playing meaningful snaps. He went on to say, and yesterday, they didn't look like they had a plan. Not even concepts of a plan. I just expected that John Harbaugh would find a way for his team to be more competitive than what we got. And for that not to happen is a direct reflection of coaching. Strong words there from a former Raven, Chris Canty. Captain Hard with our first super chat of the afternoon. What's going on, Cap? John has to let go of the coach talk. It's becoming an insult to the fan base. His comments about the defense felt so far from the truth. Why don't we cut to that immediately? We'll get to the guest lines in just a bit. I have a sad Ravens fan waiting in the waiting room, and I have a Mr. Ravens football waiting in the waiting room so far. Guest lines are open. It's a 60-second limit now. It's a new timer that I have just to speed up the entire content for a more easy watch. But let's cut to some of these takeaways that I had. And Captain Hart is segueing us right into these because John Harbaugh was asked about a number of things, including potential changes coming to his team moving forward.
You just said decisions have to be made. Are you talking about personnel lineup changes decisions, or what kind of decisions?
Yeah, well, I talk about everything. You know, I mean, I got a long list. You know, based on how the game went. I can tell you that there's a long list, all three phases. But it starts with that for sure. You look at how guys did and where guys are at and what you need to do and who else might need an opportunity. And a lot of that's with the injuries too. I mean, getting guys back. That'll take some pressure off some guys that were thrown into a tough spot, did their best, and they'll grow from it. And then scheme-wise too, there's a lot of scheme stuff we have to look at. A lot of scheme stuff on all three sides. A lot of scheme stuff offensively, some scheme stuff defensively as well that we got to continue to evolve and tweak and get better at, that we can improve upon, I think. And it's nothing that is not good, but there's things that we just got to look at and say, we got to find some different ways to put our guys in some spots to be able to make some plays. That's something we've got to try to manufacture some things, and that's what coaches always need to do. You need to find a way to manufacture some success for your guys as much as you can with scheme. So that's a big part of it too.
You want to know some manufacturing, to use his words, that can be done right now? Is there a way of manufacturing Chuck Pagano? What's the right wording for it? Can you manufacture Chuck into a promotion? Because I think you could really use him right now as the defensive play caller. I think you could use his wisdom. I think you could use his experience. I think you could use for his in-game feel. I think you could use his leadership right now. And John Harbaugh was asked a great question by Luke Jones, friend of the program. Listen to this.
I asked about Zach Orr yesterday, but it's a year ago, right around this time, you brought in Dean Pease. It's not the same exact situation, but Chuck Pagano's on staff. He's a past defensive coordinator. How much is Zach, how much are you, how much is the defensive staff leaning on him with his experiences? A little bit of a fresh perspective. He wasn't here last year in terms of trying to get this back on track.
Yeah, immensely. I mean, I would say that's true for all the coaches, and Chuck, as much as all the coaches, and also different because Chuck's got all that experience, like you said. Chuck he's been there every day. He's into me. He's a big part of how the defense is built already. And, Chuck is involved. He's on the phones. He's making suggestions, on the phones all the time. It's a great conversation with the whole staff. And Chuck is a great coach, and he's a huge part of it. And he and Zach are talking all the time. And, he's right in there. That's one of the reasons I'm so confident, because Chuck's there. And we talked to Dean, too, just so you know. I mean, had a conversation with Dean and, today, and Zach has a conversation in the staff, so, he's watching, he cares, so he's part of what we're doing. We got people that we lean on for sure. It's not like we just, if you got people that you lean on that know the defense, that are part of this structure, that you want to get their view of it, we definitely do that.
All right. So again, continues to stand tall, defiant, whatever you want to call it, as it relates to Zach Orr's job security, as he did last night in his post-game press conference. Now, as you heard him there, directly asked by Luke Jones about Chuck Pagano's influence and the way that Zach Orr can lean on him. Now, he did go ahead and mention Dean Pease in the same breath, who's serving as a consultant this year, which is a lot more hands-off, I would say, compared to what he was last year, directly involved in the game planning on a day-to-day basis with then first-year DC Zach Orr, who was 32 at the time. I believe that was the youngest DC league-wide without any previous experience, mind you. Okay? So, but you heard him there. How much Zach Orr and his defensive staff, how much did they lean on Chuck Pagano? And Harbaugh says immensely. Chuck is involved. He's a huge part of it. He and Zach are talking all the time. He's right in there. It's one of the reasons I'm so confident, because Chuck is there. I get it. He doesn't want to give up, so to speak, on his hand pick. He handpicked Zach Orr. And there is a pride. There is a level of pride here. But sometimes you got to shove pride aside. You got to shove pride aside to keep things intact, to keep this season afloat, because it's hanging on by a thread, and that thread is thin. You need Chuck Pagano as your defensive play caller right now. I've come to terms with, even though I'm on record as of last night for saying I'm ready for sweeping changes, I've come to terms with, barring something unforeseen happening on Sunday against the Rams, I've pretty much come to terms with this idea that Steve Bisciotti will not pull the plug on John Harbaugh in season. And if that ends up being the case, then at the very least, one change you can make aside from personnel, I'm talking strictly coaching personnel, is elevating Chuck Pagano. I don't even know if he wants it, but they need that. They need a change at defensive coordinator. That's what it is. It's become a necessity. Now, at the same time, I get it. And we had this conversation at length yesterday. They need, just as bad as they need change from a play calling standpoint, you're damn right. They need execution at a higher level from a player perspective, and they certainly need to get healthy on all three levels. No question about any of that. To the guest lines we go. Appreciate you guys for being with me. Already over 600 concurrents at the moment. Let's keep getting that number up. Like the video if you could. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. I'm going chronological order here. Nick, you were first. Mr. Ravens football, sad Ravens fan, TBK, all on deck as well. Nick, great to have you on, man. How's it going? And let me start your clock right now. It's a new feature.
Hey.
Appreciate your patience on this. 60 seconds starts right now. Let's get it.
Bobby, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm glad you got on the Chuck Pagano train. All right. I told you, we need to do something. And I'm going to tell you right now with the whole Ricard thing, he finally answered that. That was great. I'm going to tell you right now, if we do not make any changes and we suck the rest of the year, listen, I'll take top 5 draft pick. Give me Ruben Bain. Give me my Miami Hurricane defense end that has more pressures than probably the whole defense, all together this whole year. He had 11 pressures in one game against Florida State, Bobby. You need to keep an eye on it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you need anybody that's going to talk about drafts and stuff like that, hit me up because I'll be your guy, man. Because I'm all about getting offensive linemen from Miami.
All right.
I'll see you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks, man. How about the new feature, huh? We're staying tidy up, man. We are tidying up in here. Torres thinks he's going to come on here and talk about this, that, and the other for 120 seconds at a time. Not under my watch. Guy thinks he can just buds the entire line, too. Yeah. It's that kind of time in here, isn't it? 60 seconds or less. Nick mentioned Pat Ricard. We have a new recovery timetable on the Ravens fullback who has been unavailable since midway through August. That's the last time he's practiced. John Harbaugh gave more thoughts and context on what's going on with Pat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll put Pat up at some point in time to talk about it, but people are like wondering what's going on. It was a surprise deal for us. I mean, I'm just going to be honest about it. Okay? Is that okay? Pat, it just, it was supposed to be a 2-3 week injury, when it first happened in training camp, and then he kind of retweaked it, and it was supposed to be another 2 or 3 weeks, and the thing has just been like, it's been a slow burn. If we'd have known it was going to be this, we'd have put him on our, the first week, and we'd have had another roster spot. So it's just nobody's more frustrated than Pat, and that's been a tough one, So we're looking at that. We're looking at that to be, the Bears game. I mean, that's the one I'm hoping for Pat. I'm hoping for the Bears game. He is too. To put it out there, we'll see if he makes it or not. If he makes it, that'd be great. If he doesn't make it, then whoever we play after the Bears, it'll be that game. That'll be what we'll be shooting for. So Pat's a part of it. It's definitely a factor.
Okay, so John, look, I think this was a common theme in today's press conference. I really do. That I appreciated his transparency. I thought he was pretty real today. Oftentimes you get coaches speak in these types of environments and settings, and that's just how it goes. Sort of a necessary evil at times. But I appreciated his answer there, right? This setback was unexpected. And ultimately, yeah, it has hurt them with an injury, with a roster spot. Because when you place a player on IR, obviously there needs to be a corresponding move. And so, for example, now how banged up they are on the other side of the ball, that's taken away with Pat not being on IR now for 5 straight weeks. That's taken away from potentially having another player in that overall scheme. And so that's significant. And now that Pat's timetable has been pushed back apparently to the Chicago game, which is week 8, which does give him the bye, which gives him another week, which gives him multiple weeks, hopefully opens the door for a second half return for Pat Ricard. But clearly that's where things stand. And it was a lot more severe, even albeit, it's a soft tissue thing. It's a calf setback, and it's set back the Ravens rushing attack. There's no question about that. What about on accountability?
After you spoke yesterday, a lot of the players were asked about accountability amongst the locker room. Are you sensing there is enough in there going around?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a very accountable team. I know I've said it to you guys before, but this is a very serious-minded, determined team, and they take accountability, and they take it hard. And they don't make excuses. They don't sit up there and point fingers. They're not going to be, the heck with this. It doesn't matter. It matters, and I know how much they care because I see how hard they play. I also see how hard they work during the week. So we do talk about that. It's not what you say; it's what you do. And they're working hard, and they take responsibility for their mistakes, just like the coaches do. The coaches are the first ones to say, I've got to do better. I've got to find a way. So that's what I like about our team. That's why I think that we have what it takes to pull ourselves through all this. It's a tough circumstance, tough start to the season. At the same time, it's what we make of it. And I'm not. You can't sit there and say all is lost. We just don't. And I think year after year, it's proven that approach gives you the best chance to be successful. And we've done it before. Other teams have done it before. So we're going to go to work on that and try to make that happen.
All right, John Harbaugh talking accountability. Again, they're staring at a 1-4 hole that they have to dig out of. The best they can be, obviously, is 2-4 going into the bye. Quote, this is a very accountable team. This is a very serious-minded, determined team. They take accountability and they take it hard. Pause. They don't make excuses. I know how much they care because I see how hard they play. I also see how hard they work during the week. They take responsibility for their mistakes just like the coaches do. The coaches are the first ones to say, I've got to do better. You can't sit there and say all is lost. You can sit here and remember less than 24 hours ago what one of his veterans was willing to say up at the post-game podium, and that was Kyle Van Noy, who had this to say about accountability and overall team messaging. Listen to this. Back to the guest lines in just a second.
Messages that are coming from John or Zach or whomever aren't getting through in some way?
That's probably a question that's above my pay grade. Probably, I think that's a Harbaugh and CO question. To be honest, I think their messaging is fine, and we got to be the group to take that and go out and do the simple things right, the fundamentals, easy, basic stuff.
Accountability. Have you seen enough of that from the team after these losses, and what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'll be able to answer that better after the week, to be honest, to just be blatant honest. I feel like there's accountability, but we'll see.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Again, not a ringing endorsement. I hate to belabor the point, but that is not a ringing endorsement in terms of what Kyle Van Noy feels like he has in his peers in the coming days. He wants to see, essentially. That, to me, that's English for, I want to see how some of these guys respond to what we're about to look in the eye right now from an adversity perspective, because I don't know what I have. I don't know who I'm lining up against right now, and maybe he actually doesn't because of all the injuries. Dre Dog says, Bobby, pull up Chuck's defensive ranking. You talking about Dre? You talking about this defense as a whole? Because obviously they're all in it together, and he coaches the secondary. Zach coaches the overall defense. Tyler Santucci coaches the linebackers. We could go on and on and on. And if you're talking about the entire defensive ranking, I had those stats up earlier on. It did not look very pretty. Captain Hart is back, and he says Lamar and Pat both hid how bad the line is. There's no doubt about it. Look, not that Lamar needed any kind of whatsoever leverage going into this season or going into the last couple weeks. But man, oh man, if he's ever looking for it, Exhibit A. He's got all the tape, all the evidence in the world that you don't need any kind of leverage, Lamar, because they are 3-10 without you when you haven't been available over the years, and they are night and day, not only as an offense, but as a team overall. To the guest lines we go. TBK is in the building. What's going on, brother? Talk to me.
What's going on, Bobby? All right. I'm going to try to get
Timer
this out as quick
now,
as
baby.
I can.
Make it happen.
Yes, sir. All right. So it is almost poetic that today's topic is about, lack of fight on this freaking team. This loser attitude has spread like a virus. It spread to the fans, the coaches, the players. I saw a fan today leave a comment that said, "Oh, what's the matter, Ravens fans? The Orioles go through this every year. You guys can't handle one bad season, a sporadic season from the Ravens." No, we can't. We expect greatness. Greatness is what we expect. I decided to watch the Patriots and Bills game yesterday. You know what I saw? I saw Stephon Diggs up and down that sideline, going ham, hyping up his team. There is no real leadership from anybody on this team. Lamar was silent. Kyle Hamilton was silent. Roquan Smith was silent. Marlon Humphrey was silent. Nobody was up on their feet trying to get this team back into this game. You can't win a game without leadership, Bobby.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, dude. Man, you know what? In that game too, TBK, how about Mike Vrabel? That sounds like somebody that guys want to play for, right? I don't know what the hell Tennessee was thinking, by the way, in letting him go, first and foremost. And I'm not saying that the Patriots are going to make a run in the postseason by any stretch of the imagination, but it's year one for Mike. They're going to be ahead of schedule. You watch, they rip off 8 or 9 wins. Okay, Drake May is a baller. That dude can play. There's nothing about his stat line last night, right, that like pops off the page at you. But he's a gamer. He makes the plays that are absolutely necessary in that moment in time, and it ends up being a game-winning field goal as time expires on the road in a hostile environment. That's from a rookie kicker. And you got Stephon Diggs against his former team in a revenge game for the first time in Western New York. That was a lot of fun to watch. I saw players that want to play and embody the spirit of their head coach. I haven't seen that this year in Baltimore at all. Not one bit. And that's a problem. Guest lines are open. Sad Ravens fan, then Mr. Ravens football. Taurus is in the waiting room. Wes is as well. Appreciate all you guys for being here. Oh, Richard, I didn't recognize sad Ravens fan. You must be taking on a new personality. 60 seconds starts now. Go ahead, brother.
Sure. I mean, hell, so I finally got recovered from COVID. So, went to the birthday lunch yesterday on during the game, came back at, maybe right around the second quarter, saw we were down 24-3 and probably changed it to the Cowboys game. There was no reason to watch that piece of shit, anymore. This is not a product I'm going to pay money to watch, whether or not that's on my TV or in person. Is for some really sad reason, I find myself in one of the Ravens games this year. I'm going to be bringing a Fire John Harbaugh sign anywhere I fucking go because we need to get rid of his ass. At this point, I'm gonna leave it with this. Could you imagine getting paid $17 million for doing absolutely jack shit, nothing? I would take $1 million of 17 and result. And with that, I'm done.
Thanks for the call, brother. Glad you're on the mend, my man. Sad Ravens fan, a.k.a. Asmodeus Thanatos, Mr. Ravens football in Massachusetts, or Rhode Island, excuse me. What's going on, brother? Talk to me.
The NFL hates us. That's my one thing. And the season is not over. I don't see fight, but it's just, I think, honestly, we have the people to get it done. It's a switch that has to go. And once that switch goes, we can go on runs of never lose a game. I mean, I've seen it happen. I've been a Ravens fan since 1996. Let's relax. And I understand it's not the greatest of all games to watch or the greatest of all coaching. These guys, young. John Harbaugh's been around for a while. I don't really like the way he kind of sugarcoats stuff. I get it, but I'm a fan, and I drink the purple Kool-Aid, and I don't see us losing the playoffs in week 5. Sorry, I just don't. Our division's not that great. I still think we have a big chance to win the division. And Bobby, imagine winning the Super Bowl after this bullshit that we've been going through. Just imagine. That's all I'm saying. I'm done. Good. Have a good day, Bobby.
Thanks, brother. The optimism, I find it really, really admirable at this point that folks can find optimism. And hey, Mr. Ravens football, you never know. You never know. But there is a lot that needs to get turned around and cleaned up quickly. I'm talking about the health department. I'm talking about the desire department. Listen to what Booger McFarland had to say, right? Boog last night with Boom. Back to the guest lines in a second.
The first one's not to make excuses, okay? Yeah. They have the Rams next week, and the reason I point that out is just to say that'll be 6 weeks of football, 5 first-place teams from a year ago. Again, everybody's got tough points on their schedule. Their schedule gets a lot easier later, but what they're looking at 1-4, and if they don't play well and these guys are hurt against the Rams, Booger, 1-5. Now your margin for error really slim, even though only Pittsburgh has a winning record in the division.
Well, I'll put it this way, Boom. It's getting late early, like really early. Because from a math standpoint, you only play 17, and they're 1-4 right now. And regardless of who's hurt and who's out, we came into the season saying this was one of the more talented rosters in football. The defense stinks. They can't cover anybody. They're giving up 35 points a game, Boom. 177 points through 5 games. This is the Ravens. There's a sign in the facility. I've been in there before. There's a sign that says "Play like a Raven." I don't think they're doing that. And that simply means effort, tenacity, hustle, the physicality. It's not there. And I don't know if it can come back during the season. You can't just flip a switch and get those things. They're 1-4 for a reason. They couldn't run the football today. We came into this game saying maybe defense and Derrick Henry.
35 carries, and what will happen?
Nothing, Boom. They got blown out in their own stadium. They got a lot of issues. I don't know if Lamar Jackson being back healthy can solve them.
Well, and who knows if that'll be another week or what, a hamstring, and better than me. That's an iffy thing. I mean, they've given up 177 points. So, by the way, about depth, Marv Levy told me this a long time ago. Depth is great until you have to use it. And unfortunately, the Ravens are using it, and they're surprised that this is what it looked like. Now,
are we surprised, though? I don't know. I'm not surprised that they had that many rookies out there and got the product that we ultimately ended up with 24 hours ago. I'm not surprised that there was a lack of fight because we've watched that rear its ugly head for weeks now. The Raven way. Booger McFarland, quote, "I don't know if it can come back during the season." Is this salvageable? Back to the guest lines. That's the question. Is this salvageable? Taurus is going to answer that right now. Welcome back to the program. 60 seconds starts right now.
And short and sweet, hell no. I just want to put out there, too, which is it, Harbs? Are we an immature team or are we an accountable team? You know, I don't get his jumping around back and forth about his takes on the team. And number 2, Kyle Van Noy. I don't want to see nothing other than Harbs getting the fuck fired on my TV screen. That's it. That's it. Nothing's going to change this. No one player, no one coach. I don't want to hear nothing other than Harbs is going and he could take his whole staff with him. I don't care. But enough's enough. And real quick for you too, Bobby. I really want you to keep that same enthusiasm that you had for Mac Jones and who else was dominating the other day? Who else you say? Mac Jones and Cooper Rush. Keep that for our QB, man. Okay? I don't want you getting hyped about no other QBs except Lamar. That's it. That's all I got.
Later, Doris. Mac Jones deserved the hype that he got from me, by the way, after what he did in relief of Brock Purdy, and you know it. All right? That's not a glazed train. That's not an apologist. That's not objective. It's straight up objective after watching what Mac Jones did on Thursday night. He played tough. He played smart. He managed the win for San Francisco. They're not as banged up as the Ravens, Taurus. I don't think anybody is. But that was a team that played for its head coach, that played for each other, that played up until the final whistle and ended up winning a game on Thursday Night Football when nobody had them doing that against the Rams. And now, what do the Ravens have to go and do 6 days from now? Play the team that's going to be coming off a mini bye in Sean McVay and his Rams. You see the quote up on the screen right now as it relates to the state of John Harbaugh's defense. This was the one thing that has me perplexed from today's press conference. Listen to this.
A little bit because of that, and also because I feel like we're in a better place than we were last year. You know, last year there were some real challenges, you know, and we were able to get those things turned around and fixed. And I talk about the defensive staff and Zach, you know, that was impressive. And I feel like these things that you're seeing right now are more fixable even. So after, you know, watching it, like, it's still frustrating. And, you know, you put 5 or 6, you know, rookies out there and at one time, and this happens or that happens. But a lot of times, like, that happens in defensive football. A lot of times plays get made to overcome that, and it doesn't really affect you. So it's not, nothing's really perfect, but we've been forced to be a little bit perfect. And so, you know, we've got to get veterans back on the field. We got to find a way to create plays, manufacture pressure, get some tip balls, get some balls batted, you know, step in front of some passes and get some picks, put pressure on the offense more than we have. And that's what we've got to be going for with the players that we put out there and then the schemes that we come up with. It goes back to this player and scheme conversation. It both goes hand in hand that way.
I'm telling you, I think there was a lot to like from today's press conference. That snippet was not one of them. Quote, I feel like we're in a better place than we were last year. Last year, there were some real challenges, and we were able to get those things turned around and fixed. I feel like these things that you're seeing right now are more fixable even. We've been forced to be a little bit perfect. Okay, do you have any, like, rotten eggs? I mean that as respectfully as I possibly can. Last year's rotten eggs were Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson. Marcus was benched, never saw the field again. Eddie Jackson was cut in season. I guess those were relatively easy fixes. Ardarius Washington came to the rescue. There's nobody that's here right now that is able to do. There's no rotten eggs this year, at least obvious ones. And there's no Ardarius Washington who has emerged to save the state of this defense. They're going to have to get healthier and aggressive between now and November 4th in acquiring a player, at least at the deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern, November 4th. That's when the deadline is, coming up next month. What were your thoughts on John Harbaugh's comments related to last year's defense as it compares to this year's? Wes, talk to me. 60 seconds. Starts right now, brother.
Well, number one, don't feel bad about your Mac Jones take, Bobby. I love Mac Jones, but it could just be for my Bama fandom, so don't feel too bad about it. Okay. But I was having a good day until I just heard that. John Harbaugh is pissing me the fuck off. We're staring 1-5 in the face, and somehow we're in a better position than we were last year when we were 3-2, 4-2 at this point. I mean, how can it get worse? The defense is setting negative historic records at this point. We're rock bottom. Something has to change, and it's got to be Zach Orr. Is somebody going to sit here and tell me that Kyle Hamilton, who doesn't look good this year, Marlon doesn't look good this year. Nobody looks good this year. You're telling me that Rowe, Marlon, everybody's just asked all of a sudden? That's scheme. And John has got to face reality, especially I truly think this is going to be his last year, but how he's going to be viewed going forward is contingent upon what he does right now. He has got to either attempt to turn it around or it's going to look really negative on him moving forward.
You're the man, Wes. Appreciate you. Thanks for sneaking it in into 60 seconds. I know it's tight. Who knows? Maybe we'll adjust it as things go, but that's well said right there from Wes. And again, it just, that didn't land as other pieces of this press conference did, I think, land well. That was not one of them, comparing this year to last year and actually feeling like we're in a better place. I'm using direct words again from his clip that had, you just heard it. You heard the clip earlier on. More from John Harbaugh's press conference, including digging out of this 1-4 hole that they're on right now.
Well, yeah, that is the context. I mean, that's the reality. You know, I think we're perfectly capable of doing it, but we've got to become a really good team. You know, and we certainly weren't a good team on Sunday. I mean, we weren't even close to a good team on Sunday. So now there's a lot of reasons for that, and that's not like that doesn't say that that's all we can be. You know, we were better than that. You know, Sundays before that. So we need to be a lot better than that Sundays going forward. So that's what we're going to try to do, and I'm really. I'm fired up and I'm confident we can do it. You know, and I'm hoping that, you know, my hope would be 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks from now, you know, you guys will look back and acknowledge, you know, some of the you know, the gloom and doom. But I get it because that's how it feels to us too. So if you're asking me, like, do we have a sense of urgency? It's like, I promise you, Charles, like these guys, all of us have a massive sense of urgency. And we have had a sense of urgency. It's not like all of a sudden we're like, oh, we better get our act together. It's like, no, it's been that way like every single day, you know, in our building. That's how guys are approaching it. So we haven't turned it, we haven't reaped it yet, but we're gonna fight for that, you know, and you know, we all believe we're gonna get there.
Quick word from Prophet X, and then we'll react to that and go back to the guest lines.
The NFL is back, and with Prophet X, you don't just play. You trade, call your own shots, and outsmart the crowd. It's not you versus the house. It's you versus everyone else on America's #1 sports prediction market. Request your own odds and win real money predicting spreads, totals, and player props so you can earn more and risk less. Play free, play smart, play your way with ProfitX.co. Available in over 40 states. Now available on Apple and Android.
Guys, ProfitX.co has been sponsoring the channel so far this entire football season. If you use promo code BobbyB, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Again, that is ProfitX.co. Code BobbyB, BOBBYB. You'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Thanks to them for the continued support of the program. EB, extra butters in the house. Your 60-second timer starts right now. Talk to us, brother.
Oh, boy. Bobby. You still think I'm tripping, man? You still don't think we don't need a head coach? Listen, listening to that press conference was dog shit. Wrapped in cat shit, dipped in cow shit. It's like listening to a non-accountability taking politician. And we don't need that right now. We need a hell of a lot more than that. Because what I just heard, it was like nails on a chalkboard, Bobby. I'm done with Harbaugh. I'm done with Zio at this point. And right now, I set my sights on our owner. If you want to win now, then you need to get your head out of your ass. Stop with these homeboy relationships. Put your big boy pants on and make some executive decisions.
EB, you're the man. Thanks for sneaking it in timing-wise. Appreciate you. Thank you. Guest lines are open, guys. And we know by now what the Ravens are trying to climb their way out of right now. More national reaction continues to pile in. This from Damian Woody on ESPN earlier today.
Everybody deals with injuries. Name me a team that's 100% healthy right now. And so you won't ever catch me doing the old war is me. You know, I got guys out. Everybody has it out. But the real great coaches figure out a way.
Julian, I'm with you too. How come Tila and Ashley always stay lurking in the live chat but never use the access link? Come on, ladies. Let's go. The stage is yours. Back to Damian, though, for the time being.
Does Mike Tomlin figure out a way? Does some of these other coaches figure out a way? Kyle Shanahan. Mm-hmm. Hey, listen. Yep. You got to figure this thing out right now because what happened yesterday in Baltimore, I have never, in the history of the Ravens being in Baltimore, ever seen the Ravens get clowned on like they did yesterday. They made the Houston Texans, who offensively has basically the whole season has been atrocious on offense, look like the greatest show on turf. They did whatever they wanted to the Baltimore Ravens. And Baltimore's defense has just been bad. Do you know through 5 games, the Ravens defensively have given up more points than the 2000 Ravens gave up altogether in the whole season?
Wow.
Think about that. In 5 games, they've given up more points than the 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense the whole season. It has just been bad. I know Lamar Jackson is out, but come on, like John Harbaugh, you consider one of the elite coaches in the league, and your team is just getting humiliated out there.
The national reaction continues to grow and grow. Here are the defensive rankings. And guys, they've allowed 100, just to piggyback on Damien's comments, they've allowed 177 total points this season. That's the most for a 5-game stretch in Ravens history. The previous high was 172 from week 6 to 10 in their inaugural 1996 season. That is where we are, bottom of the barrel. Edwin Rice, what say you? Welcome to the program. Your 60-second timer starts now, brother.
All right. To answer your question in short, I'm not sure you can be able to turn it around this season. The question is kind of what we need to do from here. I don't think firing Harbaugh at this juncture would be any good because what can you do? I do believe that I think Zach Orr probably should either be demoted or fired. Because had it been anybody else in the job doing that, we'd be fired immediately because this is a results-driven league and results-driven business. I was at again, I think I mentioned to you yesterday, my son and I was at the game yesterday, and it was 31-3. We just got up and left. And that was kind of a life lesson I had to teach my son. I said, look, when you show no heart, you show no fight and no passion, things like that will happen. And it can't happen. And not only it's not representing them, they represent the city of Baltimore, which happens to be my hometown. That's not who we are. So that's all I need to say.
Well said, Edwin. Well said. And I you hate to have to do that, right, to your son, but at the same time, you're right. It is a message. It is a business at the end of the day. And like you said, it's a results-driven business. This right here on the screen, that's the result of the product that they put on tape and out there, whether it's at home or on the road for weeks running now, and it is below standard. I don't blame you for a second. Thanks for the call in today, man. Appreciate it. Edwin Rice. Tough, right? Tough, but true and factual. That's where we're at right now. This is a screenshot right now that you're looking at from the second half of yesterday at the bank. Supposedly one of the most electric game day atmospheres out there league-wide. It's been anything but. And again, it's understandable. The folks that had to make business decisions like Edwin did with his son yesterday, as sad as that is to say, as sad as it was to see John Harbaugh and hear John Harbaugh booed as he walked off the field yesterday after a crushing defeat, it's a results-driven business. And speaking of results, I'm going to go ahead and foresee something, right? Dusty, she ain't giving you the time of day. You're simping all over the live chat right now. You think Teal is looking in your remote direction? She's looking past you. She's looking through you, Dusty. She ain't even looking anywhere near you. That's the funny part about it. You're so delusional. Do you think you're going to make a play on my girl Tila in the live chat? Think twice, little boy. Back to the guest lines we go. Dre, 60 seconds starts now, baby. Great to see you, brother.
What's up, man? You funny as hell, Bobby. Look, man. Like I said in the vault earlier, you can't have good things happen when bad decisions are being made. In order to confront anything that you're trying to improve, you have to first be grounded in reality. You can't ignore what's in front of you. Right now, Harbs is literally ignoring what's in front of him. He's placating it, and then being this is a narcissist trap, where they tell you the room you're in is not on fire. It's okay. And you sit there and you burn in that room. That's what Harbs expects the fan base to do. Right now, it is time to make a coaching change, make some scheme adjustments. We got to make big changes to get big results in a small, short period of time. So you need to be giving us 2 minutes, though. But yeah, thank you.
I knew you were going to sneak that in. You're my man. We will reassess.
Oh, look. 2011 Chuck Pagano. Pull up 2011 Chuck Pagano stats. That's the year that Terrell Suggs won the MVP. I mean, the Defensive Player of the Year, all of that. 2011 Chuck Pagano.
That's what you were referencing. Thank you, Dre.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
All
Safe
right,
travels, man. You're the dude. Maybe, just maybe, we will approach and reassess after 60 seconds, and you never know. We could take a look at 120 seconds, and I'll get back to you. More from John Harbaugh earlier this afternoon. And yes, I always have time for Dirty Dusty.
Asked the question. It was tough. I mean, it was a tough circumstance. It's one of those, I don't know how many games in the NFL have had that many guys out for a team. So on top of Nnamdi. So that's just reality of it. But appreciate the way our guys fought. I thought our defense played really, really hard. And there were some big mistakes. There were some mistakes that, some young guys made that hurt us, against a good offense. And those guys were, they did a nice job against us. But, there's a few plays out there that really shouldn't happen that are kind of young guy type of mistakes. So they'll learn from that. There's positive in that. And we'll get some guys back.
They're going to need all the help they can get back into this lineup because, quite frankly, it has not looked like a group that's capable of weathering this storm. And what I mean by storm is there a collective belief internally right now in this locker room that they have, not just personnel-wise, what it takes to dig out of this hole that they now stare really up at, but do they have the belief, right? Not the personnel. Well, that's a conversation for another time because of how banged up they've been. But do they have the collective belief to dig themselves out for the second consecutive year, a much deeper hole, than they looked at last year? Do they have that? And what, if any, change may this coaching staff embrace? John Harbaugh was specifically asked about the offensive line. Off we go.
On the table. I mean, we always consider that. We look at it. I'd say it's a conversation every week. Sometimes it's not really a conversation because you know who you're. When Kyle's healthy, I know he's going to be our starting safety. And Marlon's going to be our starting nickel. But there are guys that are in that area where they still have to prove themselves. And those guys are under consideration all the time. They are the starters because they have earned that to a point. But you got to keep earning that, and you got to keep getting better. You can't plateau. It can't be like we want to build something and then all of a sudden it's not getting there as fast as we think it should or we envisioned it. If we were hoping for you to make more progress as a player and it's not happening, then at some point in time somebody else is going to get a chance, and that's just the way it should work.
That's fine. That's all fine and well, but you got to be consistent with the staff as well, right? So if Zach Orr was named the defensive coordinator like he was a season ago, he can't plateau. I think he's plateaued like many of his players have within the confines of his scheme. Going back to last night real quick.
Consider changes on the with Zach or the defensive staff?
Yeah, you try to do the most productive things, and I do not think that that's the answer. So we got to go to work is what we need to do. We need to stick together is what we need to do. And we need to find ourselves, and it has to do with coaches and players together.
I can't tell you how fulfilling it is to know that Dusty just went out into the shadows. I just absolutely buried the guy alive, and now he's nowhere to be found in the live chat. To the guest lines we go. Jewel, what's going on, brother? 60 seconds starts right now. Talk to me.
All right, Bobby, I just want to get one thing off. I made a comment about Teal and them calling in, so they should start doing that. Thank you very much. That's for her.
You're damn right they do. Ashley, we see you right now, Ashley. Hold on a second. Hold on. Pausing at 44 seconds. Hey, Ashley and Skilla, we love you. Right?
Exactly.
We want you in part of the show. We don't want you lurking in the live chat. We love that you hold it down in the live chat, but I want to see you face to face. I'm not even talking about from a romantic way. I'm just talking about we want your voice
right
all over this live stream. Okay, 44 seconds starts now. Talk to us.
All right, I'm gonna make this real quick. John, like I said, John Harbaugh has lost his locker room. Every time he speaks, it speaks of stubbornness and delusion, and those two are not going to mix. And we've seen this before. He speaks of, we're going to do this. He is a good motivator, but he's not a coach. I mean, special team coach, yes, but it's like it's the same crap we keep hearing almost every single time, and it's like it's not working anymore. The same cliched responses that he gives us is not working. He thinks we're stupid and insults our intelligence, and we're not stupid. We know this football team should be better than what it is, and his stubbornness is
Going to lead him out. Hopefully, maybe it leads him out the door. Maybe not. I don't know. Like you said, it's up to Bishotti, but he probably won't do it. So it's like we're stuck.
You're the man, Jewel. Catch up with you, brother. Thanks for the call. 60 seconds or less. It's a brand new feature. Everybody's being concise. I kind of like it. Appreciate you guys for being with me today. Over 800 concurrents at the moment. If you could on the way in or out, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or a gift-giving membership today. I know Juicebox is going to have some things to say. It's a double whammy. We've had him on back-to-back days. Talk to us, Juice. 60 seconds starts right now, baby.
Bruh, listen, to hell with losing the locker room. This dude done lost his damn mind. He's sitting there talking about if you ain't playing good, you gonna get benched. Then why the hell is Falele still in the damn thing? Like this, he keep telling us how good this dude is, but we can all see it. And this is where statistics and what we see on TV ain't matching up, because you keep talking about PFF and they grading out good, but when we see him, he's spinning around. I forgot who it was. They said that Falele looked like a toddler spinning in a circle trying to make themselves dizzy. Harbaugh lost his mind. He got to go. Yeah, I don't even need the whole 60 seconds. The dude has lost his damn mind.
I love it, Juice. My man needed 40. That's it. 4-0.
Yeah, I just needed 40.
All right, brother. Thanks so much for the call. I'll catch up with you, man. Just 40 for the win. What are we going to do the last 10 seconds? We just chill. That's what we do. Oh, that's classic. All right. That's it. Juicebox did not miss, nor does he ever miss. Appreciate you guys for being with me today. We are reacting in the day after, which was, man, it's been a hell of a 24 hours, has it not? Yes, it most certainly has. That's all it's been. 24 gosh darn hours. Guys, have you yet to hear Chris Canty? Because if you're just tuning in, you may have missed it off the top. Here's Chris Canty doubling down yet again.
Me anymore.
Because you think it's
they
over.
can't hurt me anymore. I told everybody last week that it was over. And Marcus Spears and Stephen A. Smith and Dan Orlovsky tried to convince me, no, Ravens will be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Schrager, too, I believe, said that he
Schrager
wasn't
said
worried
the same
about
thing.
them.
I'm not worried about the Ravens. I'm not worried about the Ravens.
So are they done?
They've been done. I told you that last week. They're done.
What would you like to see them do now?
I don't.
You love Lamar. Do you want them to shut him down?
You know what I would like for them to do?
Yeah. No, actually, tell me.
Put up some damn fight. Because what I saw yesterday was an indictment on John Harbaugh as the coach. You can't roll out there at home and let the Houston Texans, who have been inconsistent on offense, to say the least, this season, drop 44 on your head, the most points scored since, 2008?
It's the most allowed by the Ravens in a home game in Harbaugh's 18 years as the coach.
Yeah. Come on, dog. Y'all got to be better than that.
Well, what does that
I understand you got players missing on both sides of the ball, but you do have to have some level of professional pride. And yesterday, they didn't look like they had a plan, not even concepts of a plan in terms of knowing what they want to do. I saw more fight from the Baltimore Ravens defense on a celebration from Nico Collins than I saw actually between the whistles. It was awful. So I'm not going to sit here and go on a tirade and be irate, because I said the Baltimore Ravens were bad. I said this was the worst defense in the league, and it's bared itself out. I just expected that John Harbaugh would find a way for his team to be more competitive than what we got. And for that not to happen is a direct reflection of coaching.
Ooh, boy, Chris Canty did not pull any punches, as he so often does not when it comes to critiquing his former team. And in this case, it is an indictment on John Harbaugh. The Ravens can't hurt me anymore. That is his specific quote. Do you guys agree? Can your team not hurt you any longer? Because I don't know how many people would actually relate to that when it's all said and done. Guys, I just dropped the Discord link into the group. We are coming up on 1,000 members. Let's see who became member number 980. Looks like the Royal Jeweler Gem. We are 20 out from 1,000. Who's going to join the Discord community and help me reach that 4-figure number? It is a pinned comment right now in the live chat. Shout out Brian. Shout out Charlie. All of our new members, including Asher. It's a great community. And this football chat has been alive and well with a lot of dialogue since this loss, this historic loss. Dre Dog always mixing it up in here. Jabbo, of course, as one of my moderators. It's a great community, and it's a 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. I would love for you guys to join. Free access. That's what it is. Who's mixing it up in here right now? Illuminati Scotty, look at this. What the hell is going on? Hello, Scotty. It's good to have you. And thanks to everybody for joining an awesome community. And the last thing I'll say, Tila, Ashley, don't you worry. We'll ignore the hell out of Dirty Dusty, because the reality is, and this one's going to hurt his little boy's soul, the only thing or person that he's even has a chance at tag teaming in his life, his sorry little life, is the person that looks back at him when he looks in that mirror. Period. Thanks to Profit X. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group. Thanks to MyBookie for the continued support. And thanks to all of you for hanging out with me. Hope you appreciated and enjoyed the new feature on the guest access limit, the 60 seconds. And Sarah and I will be back with you coming up tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern, for a Tuesday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. Until then, if you could, on the way out, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hope you guys have an awesome Monday night. Take care of yourself. Get yourself right. Keep licking those wounds. And come join us tomorrow. Later, guys. I'll talk to you. And on the way out, Richard. One more from Richard, who, remember, has fully recovered from COVID. And now he's throwing those Chris Canty punches around. He says, dusty, crusty, musty, begging anyone to F me. Ha! Dusty, you see what you've done to yourself right now? You see what you've done to yourself, Dusty? The only tag team you're a part of is one that, I don't know if you're a righty or lefty, but I think you know where I'm going. You got absolutely nothing. Nothing on me, little boy. Catch you guys.